Duke's happy, so we are underway in round number 7. Polimine going to start off with, as soon as they get the go ahead, probably a double land.
We got a little bit of stretching action for both the players. The judge is making sure that we are ready to go, and then we have the first play. Ancient Tomb. Oh boy.
18. Is it Chalice of the Void?
Is it Grim Monolith?
Yeah.
What?
There's some big cards he can have here. Let's see what he wants to rock and roll with. It's a Chalice of the Void on 1. Does Duke have a Force of Will? He does not, so things are going to be a little more difficult for Reid.
Now, one of the things about a Chalice for 1, a card like Brainstorm lets you cheat on your mana so well. And if you don't have access to those cards, you can see some real mana problems in a deck in Legacy.
You certainly can, as here's another Ancient Tomb activation. Polimine going to go down to 16, and this is a Grim Monolith. This is a Grim Monolith tapping for 3 mana. Follow that up with a Metal Worker. So now, if Polimine has a big follow-up, he can do something completely insane the following turn, depending on how many artifacts he does have in his hand. So he's off to a very, very nice start. And at the very worst, if he has 2 artifacts in his hand, Adrian, he can actually untap that monolith to do something much bigger the following turn. So this is a very good mulligan to 6 with a 1-land hand, no less.
One of the things I do not see in Wayne's deck is a Lightning Greaves, which is a common card to see in these decks. But that means he'll just have to slow down for 1 whole turn before he can get you with a Blightsteel Colossus or a Sundering Titan.
Both cards that he does have in his deck, 3 Titans and 1 Blightsteel Colossus. I think he has 1 Colossus in his hand right now, as Duke is going to sacrifice that Wooded Foothills and search out a forest. So a bit of a brew from both players here, both sitting at 5-1. So both players having a nice tournament thus far. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going. Which one of these players is going to move on to 6-1 as Duke does draw a card for his turn. And we'll see what he's going to do for this turn. He's going to start off with a Scalding Tarn activation.
One of the things I've always liked to say about Legacy is that if you have a rational deck, which is to say, if your deck just kind of makes sense as far as how your deck works, well, you can basically play anything in Legacy. Reid Duke here with this No Rug, I mean, it's basically a kissing cousin of No Bant, and it's not particularly too different. I mean, a little bit of burn instead of some other cards, but you know, the thing about it is, as you say, you know, kind of a little bit of a brew, it's very close to being a Rug Delver deck, but not quite. It's very close to being the No Bant deck, but not quite. But if the concepts are reasonable and make sense, it'll work just as well as any other deck.
So Duke is going to cast a Green Sun Zenith. He's going to go get a Noble Hierarch, and we're going to see Metal Worker.
Let's see how much mana we get. Only 6 mana.
Only 6, you say?
I believe he's going to have 8 mana in a second.
So you're going to see a reveal here for the Metal Worker, a Sundering Titan, a Lodestone Golem, and a Blightsteel Colossus. Duke going to do what he needs to do. He's going to take a look at those cards, make sure he knows what they do. And
you know,
depending on which one gets cast, we'll probably have to bring it up on the screen for you guys.
Yeah, let's just look at Sundering Titan for a moment, because Sundering Titan is a scary one. If you don't know the 7-10 split, it's about to hit play, and it basically says to Duke, lose your land.
Yeah. So that's going to resolve.
Yeah.
There goes your forest. There goes your island. There's your Sundering Titan on the screen. This thing used to be a pretty nice target to search up back in the day with Tooth and Nail with Entwine, but now it's just going to be, I guess I will use the word honestly cast.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah, via Metal Worker. As Polimine is going to play a Wasteland and pass the turn back to Duke.
One of the things about a Metal Worker, generally speaking, it is a rare draw in which you don't just devastate your opponent the moment that Metal Worker gets to live past the untap phase.
So here's a Tarmogoyf from Duke. He's going to play a Volcanic Island and do that. So there's a juicy Wasteland target for Wayne as he's going to draw his card for the turn. Again, he does have multiple artifacts in the grip as well, so he can generate a lot of mana moving forward.
One of the scary things about Sundering Titan, it does not trigger on just comes into play. It also triggers on leaves play. It does not care how it leaves play. If you swords it, it triggers again.
Yep. So, Titan coming into the red zone. Reid going to take that damage. You're going to see an activation here of the Metal Worker.
Only 4.
Yep, just 4. Conveniently enough for the Lodestone Golem.
He spends his 4 mana. We Wasteland the Volcanic. And I believe that Reid Duke is between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I would say so. Here's a Glimmer Post. Gonna gain Wayne 1 life, push him up to 15. But yes, he is going to have some major difficulty winning this game. Does just have the 1 mana Accelerant Noble Hierarch and a Tarmogoyf as his permanents, facing down, as you said, the 7-10 split among others.
One of the things, if Reid lays a land, he can only cast a 1 casting cost spell because of the Lodestone Golem. But 1 casting cost spells are not allowed because of the Chalice of the Void.
Yeah, so, did you say rock in a hard place?
Frying pan, perhaps, is a better way to put it.
Yeah, it's not looking good for game number 1 for the former Invitational Champion, but one thing Reid rarely does is concede, so he will play on. He will sacrifice a Wooded Foothills. He's going to search up a Volcanic Island.
Actually, that's one of my favorite things about Reid Duke, is his take on the concession, which is to say, yeah, I understand. You would have gotten that pro point if I were to concede to you, and you need that pro point. But you know what? Beat me, then you can have it.
So there's a Chain Lightning. And so now he's casting Chain Lightning, and this is super interesting, because he's casting it, and now that is going to die. Now, you're all probably wondering, but there's a Chalice of the Void in play. It is Wayne's job to remember his card. It's his trigger, he must remember it. So you can cast 1-drops into a Chalice of the Void because of the new rules and force them to remember their own trigger. Everything about this play is completely legal. It's your card. Know what it does.
And we're going to find out what happens. I have a feeling Wayne won't like it. It's possible that he'll be happy, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it as well. Again, and this is a rules change that I am very much in favor of. You know, when you have a card like Chalice of the Void, again, it's your card. You need to know what it does. And again, Chalice isn't a card that says you cannot play 1-drops like a Meddling Mage. You can cast 1-drops all day if you like to. They just get countered. As now, Tarmogoyf is going to get into the red zone for Duke. He's going to count it up, see how much it is. And it looks like he's going to happily pass the turn back. So now, Wayne can untap. He's going to draw. And we'll see exactly what he can do on this particular turn as Duke gets himself, or at least tries to get himself back into this game, as the Titan's going to come across for 7 more.
City of Traders.
Just going to pass the turn back. Okay. Duke.
We know his hand is 1 card, Blightsteel Colossus.
Duke with plenty of lands right now. 15 to 3 are our life
10
totals.
10 life, we've just changed
10,
it.
okay, thank you. So 10 to 3, and don't forget, as we'll get a Tarmogoyf die on the screen to see exactly how big that's going to be. And don't forget about that Exalted trigger from the Noble Hierarch as well. So that's a pretty big Tarmogoyf. His Metalworker's going to bite the dust. Does Duke have a follow-up here? There's this, and here is, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Is Sundering Titan going to have to stop attacking? There's no way Reid Duke can win this game, right?
Wow. Oh, if you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here in the booth with Cedric Phillips. We're watching Reid Duke, the Master, trying to come back from what should have been a frying pan moment, and looking like he's doing okay.
So City of Traders, I believe we're going to add some mana. He's going to play a Wasteland. Is Polimine. He's going to take down that Tropical Island, pass the turn back, and now Sundering Titan is on defense. Unbelievable, as Duke is going to draw his card. He has turned this game around completely. There's a Misty Rainforest. And what is he going to do now to navigate this turn?
There have been a couple of opportunities for Wayne here to untap that Grim Monolith. 2 of them have passed him by, and we'll see if that hurts him. Reid can't attack in profitably. Oh. Boy, back to Wayne Polimine. Wayne here, another Ancient Tomb. Very painful lands in play for Wayne there. 2 damage to get 2 mana. Wayne's hand, Blightsteel Colossus. Reid knows it.
Duke just drawing his card and passing the turn back. Probably a 1-drop that he drew. Looking basically right now, depending on if he has Natural Order in his hand or anything, just looking for land so he can cast the big Natural Order and get Progenitus, hoping, of course, that he doesn't have Progenitus in his hand.
2 life. Little post action here. So, Cloud Post, Glimmer Post, Vesuva, a part of the package for Wayne.
You see Duke going to cast the Lightning Bolt. Wayne does remember his trigger on his Chalice of the Void this time. Can't imagine he'll forget very much more moving forward. As now here's a Sylvan Library. That's a big draw step for Duke.
I like that one.
Here's an activation of the Grim Monolith to finally untap this. He's going to have to take 2 life to do so, but now he's going to get 3 more mana. He's getting ever closer to that Blightsteel Colossus that you mentioned.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana currently available for Wayne.
City of Traders going to make it 11 mana. I'm going to pass the turn back.
This game would be very different if a Lodestone Golem hadn't died.
Absolutely.
And Sylvan Library, I love it. Best of 3, what you got? He cannot Necro Hut. He does not, and by the way, you can see that card there on the left, but be cautious when you look at it because that is not the current text on the card.
Yeah, it's weird, the text on the card. Basically, you get to look at the top 3, you get to take one of them.
Close.
Yeah, and then like the other 2 you can pay 4 life for each one. It's a little bit oddly worded.
If you read the legend card there, it's very close to what it sounds like it's doing there on the legend card on the left, but that's not the exact card text.
So why don't you explain Library exactly how it does work?
I will after we finish this little play-by-play if we have one. We've got what? Another post. There is the mana. He gains 3 life. I believe he's probably going to lose 4 life in a moment, tapping all of this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana.
So it looks like Wayne's going to have to take 4 damage to be able to cast what looks like a hard cast Blightsteel Colossus.
And hard with like actual well, I guess you could call the ramp from Ancient Tombs and such. Blightsteel.
It's going to be forcible. Removing Progenitus. So, if we thought that we were going to be able to natural order for Progenitus, that plan's out the window.
And Wayne does remember this trigger. Reid Duke now down to 2 life. That means the fetch lands are going to be a little less valuable.
Yeah, how about one more
fetch.
How about one more fetch for Reid? That's about all you get.
Now, Reid does know the 2 cards on top of his library. The way he could do this, I guess he likes them, is he could draw, then activate the fetch land, then activate the Sylvan in between.
Sure.
It is usable in that way. But he decides, looks like he kept the second card, or the first card down, and left the other 2. The Goyfs are both 5/6. Reid goes down to 1, count them, 1 life to get a land. Oh boy. No more fetches for Reid.
Yep, he's got, unless he draws lands on his own, no more fetches, as you said. Here is a Green Sun Zenith for 2. He's going to get another Tarmogoyf, and with those Tarmogoyfs being 5/6s, what Wayne is looking at this next turn is a lethal attack from Duke. He's got 1 blocker. Duke's got 3 attackers. They're all 5/6. So he's going to have to draw something of relevance this turn as Duke keeps fighting back.
Lots of cards he could draw here.
What is he going to find to get himself out of this situation?
7 mana. He can cast most things in his deck except for Blightsteel Colossus, but that's it. Wayne Polimine loses to the Duke. Loses because of a failure to let his Chalice of the Void trigger happen. He forgot to announce it. Reid Duke tested the waters. Totally legal, totally reasonable. Current rule set. Wayne's job is to remember, and he did not.
Yeah. So Reid Duke is going to win game number 1 with no rug against Wayne Polimine playing Mud. We'll go to the sideboards here. We'll take a look at Wayne's sideboard first. I know you have it in front of you. What can he sideboard in his rug deck to get him out of that situation where he had a pretty good draw, frankly, wasn't able to take it down?
I thought it was he was looking pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised to see All His Dust come in. I mean, a Progenitus hits the table. All His Dust does actually kill it.
That does actually work.
And that's very few things in the game of Magic can deal with that.
Yeah.
Another card to consider is Platinum Angel. Now, he saw red mana from Reid. So red mana means that there are access to various shatter style effects, but that is another opportunity that you can drop that down and lock out the game and force Reid to have a specific artifact answer, or else he can't be killed. And I mean, other than that, cards like Ratchet Bomb are good on the low end. Get rid of all the little Goyfs, get rid of like the Noble Hierarch that sneaks out.
Take a Sylvan Library too.
Yeah, get rid of a Sylvan. I mean, honestly, I feel like he's got a bunch of cards that are useful. None of them are overwhelming. I expect that if he boards in anything, the cards that are the most likely are some combination of Platinum Angel, 1 Batterskull on the board, 2 Aweless Dust, and 2 Ratchet Bomb, and he's probably going to board in much less than that.
We'll take a look at Reid Duke's sideboard here. Again, he is up a game right now in this matchup with his no-rug deck. 2 copies of Relic Progenitus, 1 Umezawa's Jite, 2 Pyroblasts to go along with the Red Elemental Blast, 2 Grim Lavamancer, 1 Sylvan Library, 2 Kitchen Finks, 1 Spell Pierce, 1 Jason Mind Sculptor, 1 Bonfire of the Damned, and the last one, the easy one to board in, is 1 copy of Ancient Grudge.
Okay, I was going to say Ancient Grudge would be the card I'd be scared of, but he's got just the Ancient Grudge.
Yeah, just the singleton in his sideboard, but he does have manipulation with Bronders and Brainstorms, provided he can actually cast them this game through a Chalice of the Void from Wayne. The other cards that he can bring in, I really do like the use of Sylvan Library. I think it was very effective in that last game. I think boarding in a second one is perfectly reasonable. Wouldn't be surprised to see Spell Pierce come in here either. And then an additional Jace the Mind Sculptor, he has 2 in his main deck, an additional 1 in his sideboard. Wouldn't be surprised to see that come in as well. Heck, even Kitchen Finks to buy him some time to get himself out from underneath a sticky situation. He's definitely got some options at his disposal. Just want to figure out which ones he's going to use.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's got a lot of options. The only one that feels like a true slam dunk is Ancient Grudge.
Yeah.
The others are just, nudge the deck one way, nudge the deck the other way, just get it a little more suited to the situation. Neither of these players really have any slam dunks, I don't think, in their board for this matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, if Reid Duke was playing against a deck with blue in it, I'd say, wow, he's got the best sideboard card ever in the form of Pyroblast, but that's not what he's playing against here.
So not some gigantic changes going to take place from either player, I don't think, but there will be some changes, and you do see both players consulting their sideboards quite a bit, shuffling up really, really well and getting ready for a second game here. Again, make sure you guys do stick with us through the course of this weekend, as we do give away premium all day Sunday long in our semis, our quarters, our semis and our finals. We begin away 3 months of SCG Premium in our quarterfinals, 6 months of SCG Premium in all of our semifinals, and Patrick Chapin's newest book, Next Level Deck Building, in all of our finals giveaways. So we'll be giving away at least 3 copies of Next Level Deck Building this weekend. So make sure you do stick with us all weekend long as we do crown a new Standard Open Champion, a new Legacy Open Champion, and a new Star City Games Invitational Champion. Unless, of course, Jerry Thompson does defend his crown.
If you are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Cedric Phillips. You should be following at SCG Live, because then you can get into the conversation with all of us that are here doing the coverage, and the conversation with everyone that's watching with hashtag SCGINVI. And you can see all kinds of things. For example, Chris Bakula just took a picture from his match, so you could be seeing all kinds of other elements of our coverage. And don't forget, we have all kinds of features happening here this weekend. We've got Mox Ruby, the Ruben Bressler, doing all kinds of interviews along with Glenn Jones. And, if you're not taking advantage of every single element of this coverage, there's always a little bit more you could get. So make sure you're on it with our Twitter, and stay tuned all weekend, as Cedric was saying earlier.
Yeah, all sorts of deck techs being lined up for you guys. I know that Ruben and Glenn have done about 6 deck techs so far this weekend, so plenty of new fun decks for people to take a look at here. But we're going to put our focus on this match in front of us, No Rug versus Mud. See if Wayne can win this game and force a third and final game, or is Reid Duke going to move along to 6-1 and look to win another Invitational? Remember, he did win our Los Angeles Invitational in December.
Ship It Holla had some interesting things to say about that last game on Twitter. So hashtag SCGINVI, get involved in this awesome conversation. Now, can Wayne Polimine come back from that kind of devastating Chalice mishap?
Yes.
Is he going to maintain his cool, or is he going to crumble a little bit?
Down to 6 he's going to go, so at least one mulligan.
He looks cool, so I think he'll maintain his cool.
It's going to be tough not to maintain the cool party rocking over there, as Reid Duke looks like he's going to keep his 7 cards. Happy enough is the Duke, probably hoping to fade a turn 1 Chalice of the Void to start things off. Interesting deck, the Mud deck. We've seen it have some success. I don't think it's ever won an open series. I could be wrong about that, but I have seen it make at least a couple finals appearances. This is a very boom-bust deck. When it's good, it's great, and when it fumbles and stumbles, it looks pretty bad.
I believe it won a Open in Kansas City in 2011.
Wow. Okay.
It was either Kansas City or Indianapolis.
Okay.
It was pretty early, though, in the SCG Live coverage history,
Sure.
but it was really impressive. I remember That was my first time seeing Kuldotha Forgemaster do any work.
Yep.
And you know what? Tinker was so good, if you have to sacrifice 3 times as many permanents, well, that's fine too, I guess.
Well, he's going to take 2 less cards, is Wayne. So looking to take a mulligan down to 5. You're hoping to stop there, have a competitive game 2 with Mr. Duke. Reid again. I'm sure you guys are most people are going to be familiar with him at this point. Writer for StarCityGames.com, Grand Prix Miami champion. And after this tournament, and he's been testing all week long for the other tournament he's going to, he's just going to be going to the World Championships next weekend in Amsterdam. So looking to take an invitational crown with him on the way over there.
So we had a question on Twitter from Aristotle wanting to know about Patrick Chapin's new book, which you should check out, Next Level Deck Building. How can he get it? Very easy, starcitygames.com/NLDB.
Yep.
Put it in your cart, pick it up.
Yep. So Wayne is going to play a Wasteland. He's going to pass a turn back. Duke going to draw his first card of the game. He does draw a Noble Hierarchy. He's going to start off with a Misty Rainforest Sacrifice. Going to go down to 19. We might see the old Exalted Mana Accelerant in just a moment. You see him go through his deck very, very quickly. He's going to search out a basic land in the face of that Wasteland. That's one of the things I do like about Duke's deck as well, that he does have enough basic lands to actually be able to function. We saw Sundering Titan take them down the last game, but he is able to actually make it so that he can be Wasteland-proof in the opening turns of the game.
We see a Vesuva on Wasteland.
Just going to pass the turn back here. Again, Wayne's mana base is pretty innovative. He's got 4 Cloud Post, 4 Vesuva, 4 City of Traders, 4 Ancient Tomb, 4 Glimmer Post, and 4 Wasteland. So he is completely colorless. Vesuva allowing him to copy other people's mana bases.
Seeing Reid Duke here. Reid is pondering his second turn.
Start with a Forest, and now here's another Noble Hierarch into a Relic of Progenitus, and going to pass the turn back. Okay.
That is a lot of mana right now from one land. Threatening a possible natural order next turn. Chalice for 1.
Little
late to the party.
Late. Yeah, no kidding. Now, Chalice Form, of course, can't shut down Brainstorms and all the other fun stuff, but Noble Hierarchs and Relic of Progenitus are already underneath that. There's your die to remind us of the Chalice, as Duke is going to untap, take a draw, does have Forcible in his hand. See if he has maybe a land and a natural order, get that Progenitus out there, do what his namesake deck is trying to do. Or is he just going to play a more honest game? We'll see.
Now the Relic of Progenitus from the sideboard is interesting. It seems to me that what he has done is brought that in largely as an effect to cycle, simply because he just has cards that are not great and he can get rid of them.
So now here's a Green Sun Zenith for 1. Duke could have cast the Zenith for 2 to get out of Tarmogoyf, but he's going to search for a Noble Hierarch. Feels like to me, Adrian, that he may have a natural order in his hand. Is just trying to get to that 4 mana sweet spot.
Now, this is the possible spot where a Ratchet Bomb a turn earlier would have been pretty nice for Wayne Polimine. I'm not sure if Wayne brought them in or not, but regardless, Natural Order is a scary card to have to deal with.
Duke going to come across here for 3 due to those exalted triggers from all of the Hierarchs out there. This is going to pass the turn back. Wayne with an Ancient Tomb, so now he's got access to 5 mana, but he's just going to pass the turn back. So he has Staffinen in his hand right now, so he does just need 1 more mana, as Duke is going to slowly draw his card. And we're going to see if maybe it's Natural Order time or not.
I think it is. That's a quick 4. Maybe Jace.
Feels like it. It is going to be Natural Order.
Boom.
So, going to sacrifice himself a Noble Hierarch, and I think it might be time for Mr. Protection from everything in Progenitus, and there it is.
So the question becomes, does Wayne have all his dust? Can he cast it in time?
Yep. And time is not something he's going to be having much of, because that Progenitus being 10-10, yeah, sure, throw on 2 Exalted triggers on there, sure, a little more insult to injury. And don't forget about that Ancient Tomb as well, because that's going to cost life to activate too. So his life total is under some serious duress here, as you're going to see him activate those 2 Vesuvas, and now here is that Ratchet Bomb that you mentioned.
So late.
Yeah.
Every card late.
Yeah, a little late to the party for the Chalice and the Bomb, as Duke is going to untap. He's going to draw his card. We'll see how he wants to navigate these next couple turns of the game because there may
Is
not
that a
be
force of
many
will?
more. Yeah, I mean,
That's
he already
it.
had one.
That's it. Oh boy. So now if Wayne can somehow produce 14 mana, it would take 2 All Is Dust to get through this.
There's a Relic of Progenitus activation, gonna cycle that. Draw a new card. Duke operating quite well with 1 land, as here comes Progenitus with 2 Exalted triggers.
1, 2, 3 after the fact.
There's the
Sylvan.
Library. Pass the turn back.
Up for 1. A little bit late. Okay. All it can be, the only card it can be, is All Is Dust. All Is Dust or no. And that is it.
So Reid Duke is going to win this match, move on to 6-1, defeating Wayne Polimine 2 games to 0. No rug. Reid's innovative deck, kicking it old school, taking down Mud. So congratulations to Reid, moving on to 6-1 and having another wonderful start at Star City Games Invitational, maybe looking to take his crown back from Jerry Thompson.
Right. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen. One of the best guys of all time, I think, in the game of Magic, Reid Duke. There are good guys, and then there are the best guys, and I think Reid Duke might be the best guy.
Yeah.
Now, quick note. We had a question on Twitter, why didn't the Chalice of the Void counter Duke's Green Sun Zenith? Well, it was a Green Sun Zenith for 1, which means it cost 2 mana.
Correct.
So that's why, at Blaze Rider, that's why it did not counter it.